Now, what we need to do is talk about Mr. Joe Mazzulla. First of all, let me just get it right out there on Jump Street. Joe has done a hell of a job. When you look at the circumstances by which he became the head coach, you look at really just a lot of the noise that he had to kind of filter out and just focus on the job and the task at hand, which is to coach these guys. He's done a hell of a job. But he's not flawless. He's not perfect. There are parts of his coaching acumen that I think he needs to get better at. And I thought the Lakers game brought some of those shortcomings, things he needs to get better at to light. And I'm speaking specifically about his use of timeouts, Gary. There is no end of the year, you can't cash those timeouts in and get some kind of end of the season prize. He has a tendency to let his players play through runs. And he's explained in the past that he does that so they can get comfortable, so they can learn how to fight through that. But there are times, Gary, where you can kind of see that they're going to need some intervention other than their own ability to slow the bleeding. And Joe, I don't think he's developed a strong enough pulse for when he needs to do that and when not to. I'm just curious, what were your thoughts on just the use of timeouts in that Lakers game, and really just in a more broad sense as well?
Yeah, I thought you can't wait till the run gets to 18-0 to call a timeout.
Right.
Like you got to 8-10. Okay. That run got to 18. It was 88-74 Celtics. And then it was 92-88 Lakers. Okay.
With no timeouts on call.
No, he called a timeout when it was 92-74. The run got to 18-0. Okay. And then, and the Celtics looked a complete mess. It's one thing if you're playing the right way, you're just missing shots. The Celtics couldn't get the ball off the floor. They were turning over. They were taking bad shots. They were dribbling too deep into the paint. They were getting stripped. They were getting run. Lakers getting run out. LeBron looking like Cleveland LeBron with the dunks. Russ looking like OKC Russ. Lonnie Walker was getting in their ass. Like it was like, okay, stop this, Joe. Stop this. Either get some new guys in the game, or just call a timeout. And he didn't until it got 92-70, 92-88. Then he didn't call a timeout for the rest of the game. It got to 105-93. So it worked. Like Joe had two times. Joe, when the game went to overtime, Mazzulla had the Celtics had two timeouts left. And again, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Freaking your boy, your dude, your main man, Darvin Ham, used all of his timeouts in regulation.
You're damn right.
The Lakers were damn near up the whole time. It's crazy. It's Joe does not like timeouts. And will that help? I think it will, but I think there's certain extreme situations that you have to call a damn timeout. Last night was one of them. They were inept. They couldn't get the ball up the floor. The crowd was all up into it. Grant making mistakes. Marcus trying to do Marcus, taking three. Like, it was like, this is the worst of the Celtics. Stop this. Stop the fight. Stop the fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? But there's Joe.
Yeah.
And, but then, they're down 13 with 3:40 left, and they come back to tie it. And he didn't call a timeout when the Lakers went up 13, 106-93. He did not call a timeout. They just played through it.
Yeah.
And then the Grant three, and then a lot of, some of the Laker writers were saying the key play was that Marcus Smart steal of the LeBron inbounds that cut it to 8. It was 106-93. Grant three, okay, 106-96, you're still up 10. Then boom, 106-98. Then all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh. Then, and we're not talking about our Lakers, our daddy's Lakers. We talking about these Lakers. Like, uh-oh, we up 5. It's a 2-possession game. Uh-oh, somebody about to choke. Trouble. So what happened? The Lakers choked it. Anthony Davis missed 2 free throws.
Right.
They got hesitant, and then they were tired. Like, I could see it. Like first, Darvin Ham pulled a Mazzulla. He played AD and LeBron 40 plus, and them dudes like, bro, you know
who he is?
Yeah. He didn't play Kendrick Nunn no 40 minutes. None of them young dudes. Austin Reeves didn't play 40 minutes. He played his old guy, Russ, all them 40, and they were like, you know, at the end of the game, they were done. Overtime, they were done. So I think Mazzulla has his own way. He's sticking by it. Now, will that end up burning him and burning the team in one game or two? We'll see. So far, it hasn't really burned them. I mean, there's 7 losses. We've all been like the overtime losses to Cleveland. All right. You could say he made some questionable coaching decisions there. The 2 at Chicago where they just they didn't. That's a bad matchup for them.
Yeah,
the Bulls,
it is.
You know, that the game against Miami where Butler just hit a bunch of big shots, and then the 2 Lakers clip. So of their 6 losses, 4 have been not close.
Right.
3 have been overtime. They had 3 overtime losses.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't say it's not working.
No. My concern though, Gary, is that you know you and I we've seen enough playoff games to know that there's such a small margin for error when you get to the postseason. You know, you look back at like the Brooklyn series where the Celtics swept them. I mean, that series could have easily been 2-2 rather than a 4-0 sweep. Possession here, possession there. I worry about Boston getting to the playoffs and having one of those games where they are on the short end of an 18-0 run where there's no timeout call, and then they wind up losing by like 4. And you start playing that what-if game, which you don't want to do because, again, I think what Joe does works well in a regular season. I'm not sure if giving them that much room to figure things out is going to work most of the time in the playoffs. My fear, again, is it's going to be the one game where it doesn't work in the playoffs, and that just happens to be, you know, game 5 when it's a 2-2 series, and then you lose that game, you're down 3-2, and then you're going back to their place for game 6. That's my concern. But again, you know, I will say this: if you look at the overall body of work that Joe Mazzulla has put together, you know, as a coach in his first year of doing this thing, I mean, he has been, you know, money in the bank